Welcome, welcome to Bar Tonight. I am your happy Scotswoman and favourite host, Myri Nikshavan. Joining me tonight as co-host is Scald from Griffin Eye News. Hello, Scald.
Close. You'll get it eventually.
One day I'll figure out what that little birdie thing is. And we're very excited to welcome both the Baron and Baroness of Dragon's Lair, as Baroness Chloe and Baron Arian. Hello, Dragon's Lair.
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you for joining me. And we're very lucky to have Her Excellency Moira, Baroness of Stromgard. And she is flying solo tonight, gentlemen. So you know what that means, single Baroness on the screen. Hello, Baroness Moira.
Hello.
Lovely to see you. I thank you all for joining me because I know that there's been a lot of scheduling mishaps and most of it's, with all due respect, scheduling anyone with a pointy hat is like herding drunk kittens. It's very difficult to get you all in the same room.
And I thought we were trying to make it easy.
Well, yeah.
We'll go with sure.
We could make it difficult.
You could, but then it would be we'd go a lot longer than an hour, and we'd end up like Scald trying to edit a 3-hour interview and spending the rest of our known lives on the computer. So
yes, and trying to keep it PG-13.
Correct. Right.
Absolutely.
So we get one F word per show, so I'd appreciate it if everybody just doesn't give a fuck as much as damn.
And there we go.
And there it is. Sorry, folks.
I think our host called dibs on that.
Okay, my F word will be fun.
That's a good one.
Friendly.
And then the teacher comes into the room. It's like a kindergarten teacher. We're all gonna have fun now. I'm in the back being bad. Well, I'd love to get us started. This series is about getting to know the barons and the baronesses that are currently landed. Some of you stepped up, Your Excellencies of Dragonlair, in fact, stepped up during this pandemic. And so some people didn't even know you had stepped up, to be quite frank. They were like, Arian's a baron of what now? So it was I had to explain, he does more than just make coins. So I really am interested in getting to know you and letting the viewers get to know you as well. So our first question tonight, for each of you, what are you each best known for in the SCA? If somebody said, oh, Moira does X, what's your X, Baroness Moira?
Probably knitting or spinning or costuming.
Okay, fiber arts, very nice.
Mm-hmm.
And Baroness Chloe, what about yourself?
Other than my hugs, I'm gonna say that's hard. I am always in the kitchen at camp, making sure everyone's fed and happy.
Excellent job. I like that. And
I love that job.
It's a great job because you get to meet everybody, right? Everybody gets to know you kind of in a comfortable element. Feeding people is a wonderful love language.
Oh, yes.
And Baron Arian, what are you best known for? Or did I already bury the lead earlier?
Well, coins I'm certainly known for, but I'm also very well known for being the oldest warrior on the warfield and one of the most deadly combat archers.
Okay.
Good things to be known for.
Is you also a bard?
I do some bardic stuff, but I'm not known for that.
I remember at a Dragon's Lair event you regaling us all with a great story. So.
Yes, you were there. You saw my lovely Laire. Yes.
And she's telling the truth about that.
Liar, liar, liar.
Oh.
It's an oldie but a goodie.
Scald, ladies and gentlemen, for the win.
Baroness Moira, Your Excellency, the SCA is known for being the dream and having some very surreal and flow kind of moments. So have you ever had like a magical moment in the SCA that just made you think, wow, this is like so real and so awesome?
I've had far too many for this an hour. Honestly, I'm just going to go with my very first event. It was that October Crown, West Kingdom, 1989. It was made of magic. And the most amazing aspect of it was Sunday morning, up before dawn because there was this it mist over the lake, a bagpiper off in the distance. It was that weekend that changed my life.
And Your Excellency, Chloe, same question. Do you have a moment that sticks out in your mind?
Oh, man, my first event. I wasn't even in the SCA yet, and I was invited by Her Excellency Bridget to camp with Dragon's Lair. And there's nothing more intimidating than having your tent at the very end of the feast line for all of the visiting coronets and crowns. And it was intense and amazing, and I never looked back. I signed up like a week later to come play.
Oh. And Your Excellency Arion, is there anything that stands out in your mind?
Yes, very much so. 40-year celebration at Emil's place, way up in the mountains. The evening, the full moon, there was a mist covering the grounds. And as you walked forward, things magically appeared, moonlit through the mist. It was wonderful.
I'm seeing a misty theme in Western An Tir. Is that like a thing?
It is.
Yeah. So much so.
Between
used to
all
live
the
in
Norse
Prince County.
personas and all the Scottish personas, there's a lot of wee things that come out of the mist here. So we definitely have some interesting misty moments. And this is the Emil that I've only ever heard about. I think he's kind of a legendary guy with this huge property, and I've heard stories of him, but have never met him. So
You probably won't. He's currently in jail.
Oh.
I was trying to soft shoe that, but yeah.
Getting right to the quick of the moment here.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why he's the oldest on the warfield. He just doesn't bandy about.
Not at all.
So maybe we'll start with Baron Arion for this one. Could you tell the viewers a little bit, and it just kind of, do you have a couple top reasons or people that you wanted to emulate, or what led you to be landed? Why did you follow that dream in the SCA?
That one's easy. Chloe wanted to be Baroness. She looked around for someone who would be a suitable Baron, and after interviewing a number of people, settled on me.
It's all my fault.
And Baroness Chloe, what was that interview process like exactly? Was there a dance portion and like a heraldry test? What kind of steps did you put him through?
I actually didn't tell anybody I was interviewing them, and just like got to know their personalities. He kind of knew because I had been talking about it for so long, but it was more of who do I click with out of all of these possible candidates, and we clicked. We've done events before together, and we work well as a team, so it was a natural transition.
And did you have any particular reasons that you felt you wanted to step up this term?
I got it in my head that I wanted to do it because it's the ultimate form of service, and I'm gonna do it. This is gonna be my year.
I think I'm one of these people that thinks if you serve 2 terms, they should just hand you the Pelican. Just hand you the Pelican and a bottle of whiskey and say, "Go take a break for a year."
Wouldn't that be great? I want to get through this first set because pandemic has been a really entertaining way of doing it, but there's been a lot of scotch involved.
Entertaining. I like that term. I like that term.
And
We're also looking forward to actually going to our first live event as Baroness and Baron.
that would be fun. That would be a good time.
Great.
Baroness Moira, is there a particular reason you chose to put your name in that proverbial hat?
We were asked to apply, and after much thought and conversation between Duncan and myself, we finally decided it was just, we had never had this opportunity to serve in this capacity. It took a lot for both of us as we're very much behind the scenes people. So being front and center is a big change of pace for both of us. And it's a different way to serve, and I'm really enjoying this opportunity to help me get to know more people in An Tir.
That's awesome. We,
Oh,
we do tend to be insular, so I
Yes,
think
very much.
sometimes you're not going to meet very many people unless you put yourself out there, and then
Mhm.
you have all kinds of new introductions and friends and acquaintances, and
And I moved from my, having been a member of my former kingdom for 25 years, I knew the lay of the land. So I really was starting over when we moved.
very brave.
you dove right in. Unlike my husband who says no and took off, said find someone else.
He's got his priorities straight. Knows what he wants or what he doesn't want. Okay, so we're doing something a little bit weird and different here the last year and 3 or 4 months. The ESCA, or the digital SCA. So Baroness Chloe, how has this been for you? Better, worse, terrifying, awesome?
I think it's actually allowed me to open up more because I'm a very anxious person speaking in front of people, and this is a nice smooth transition for me. It's been an adventure trying to figure out how to do activities and classes and things online, but I think we're going to come out of this with a whole new set of skills.
And Baroness Moira, how would you characterize your ESCA pandemic experience?
I hate it.
I miss hugs.
My SCA is hands-on. My SCA is being with the people I love the most in the world, my chosen family, my community, my hometown. It is getting to listen to amazing, brilliant, delightful people tell their stories and teach through conversation, and just being able to watch their creativity happen, not being able to be a part of that. I hate it. I hate it, hate it, hate it.
Are there any positive aspects you could find to the ESCA, or?
We're taking care of a lot of the administrative stuff, and we're doing a lot of behind the scenes, all the stuff that needs to be done with, like, making certain all the supplies and the pavilions and everything is up to date and in good standing, getting these again for a good hard cleaning and an update. Just a lot of the administrative stuff that wouldn't normally be available to us when you're going to events all the time. And just learning to be a lot more patient about answers.
Fair. And Baron Arian, what's your thoughts on the pandemic ESCA experience?
Okay, you're talking to someone who one of his goals several years ago was to be the last person on Earth without a cell phone. I finally gave in, and got that cell phone. Yes, I'm doing the 12-step Blood 8 program to come out. And in reality, I am very impressed with how the SCA has responded to the lack of complete in-person with, okay, maybe you can't go in person, but maybe you can go to Atlantia and take a course or hang out with the bards somewhere, wherever. So it has opened up a whole new world for us.
Definitely. I know I've got to meet Skald and some other wonderful people up in Avacol just by doing these shows and swapping hosts and interviewing new people. And there's obviously always going to be a place for in-person events, but this is, like you said, you can go to Atlantia, you can go to a Caiden event. We've got people coming from all over to teach at ITHRA. There's a lot of new doors opening up, so we can just kind of go with the flow a bit and maybe learn some new skills and have some fun until we can camp again, because that's what everyone wants us to camp. We all want the damn tent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So true.
One of the things I came up with an idea that I wanted to do a bardic showcase, and all I really wanted to do is make cool coins and listen to bards. And Fina McGregor stepped up and said, I will actually run this for you and do all the admin, set it up. So we had 2 SCA bardic showcases where we had people from all over the world entering. And there were no rules. Well, the only rule was we wanted you to do something and have fun. Give us what you think is your best performance. So yeah, I think I drank the Kool-Aid.
Baron Arion, also known as that guy from who had the glasses and wanted to read, and then he went and hid in the bank vault, and the whole world was destroyed. He was so happy he could read his books, and then he broke his glasses. Or just Meredith. So
Twilight Zone.
yes.
Hi, Rufus. You go in the house.
Uh-oh.
Go in the house.
I think we have a
Okay, I'll
dog,
leave.
a dog and a cat.
Oh,
Rufus.
I'm in the house. I'm hiding from my dog because she looks at me like I have cookies in my hands at all times.
Of course.
So Baroness Chloe, is there one event in your barony that folks from outside of your area should definitely not miss? Is there something that just screams, this is Dragon's Lair, you've got to come to this event?
Well, if you haven't been to June Fair, you've been under a rock.
That's the answer, right?
Right. It is the best. Yeah, well, I might be a little biased because it's our event, but it's intense. It's 3 days of fun, of music, of just fighting, and the modern public wandering through and getting to experience that all is a sight to behold when you have over 2,000 non-SCA members on site walking around. And it's yeah, you have to see it. You have to be there.
Baron Arion, would you agree with that assessment? June Fair is the place to be in Dragon's Lair?
The best June Fair, of course, was the one that Chloe and I did, but yes.
Modest. I like it.
Good answer. And Baroness Moira, how about it's coming down to Stromgard? Which event should we come to really get to know the flavor and the people of your area?
For camping, I'm sorry, a bee just flew in my face. All right, for camping, Stormgods. I mean, for the fighters and the rapier, we try to murderate you with all, Fightapalooza, run for the horde, race for the horde. I'm losing the names of all the activities, my gosh. But yeah, it's just a weekend of just fighting and archery, and if we can, horsemanship and all the fun stuff we love about camping. And a really cool party on Saturday night.
Okay. So definitely I'll make that event then.
So sort of turning the lens around here, we just accept that the events in your guys' baronies are perfect and wonderful and the best ever. But if someone had to do something else that wasn't in your barony, Baroness Chloe, what would they do?
Archery Fest.
And where is Archery Fest?
It is held over in Yakima in Vulcanfeld, and it is nothing but archery and thrown weapons and ballista for another 2 strong days of just hitting targets, and it's something else. It's a whole different kind of family, and it's so much fun. There's nothing like spending 4 hours shooting a York and wishing you didn't spend 4 hours shooting a York because it hurt later, but it's worth it.
That sounds like a good time. Baron Arion, would you agree with that assessment, or is there a different one? I mean, see behind you, you got some bows, so I probably think you shoot a bit.
Just a little bit, yeah. If I could only go to one event the entire year and nothing else, it would be Archery Fest. But I also want to plug An Tir as one of my big time favorites, because what's not to like about killing your friends?
It's something I enjoy. And Your Excellency Moira?
I'm gonna go with An Tir a lot of it is homecoming for me. My SCA family in the West Kingdom are all there, and it's a great event. It's a lot of fun, and it's just a delightful days of just in this gorgeous site. We don't get that opportunity to have nothing but hills. And yeah, it's a great event, and it's been going at the Gold Beach site for a number of years now, and it's a beautiful place to go, and I love everybody I get to visit with.
Do you ever have mixed loyalties? Like, do your fellow Antirians feel sometimes they can't quite trust you because you might, go over to the other side?
No. Fealty's a little bit of a thing. And I am in Field Tito An Tir now.
Oh,
Okay, we cleared
and
that up
that
there,
side is
Christian.
amazing. That side has got to be one of my favorite to wake up to, with the mist across the
Mhm.
straw, and the candles or battery operated candles at least still flickering in the early morning light.
I actually have a story I'm telling on Duncan. The first year we moved up here and we went down to An Tir West War, and it was one of those, it was kind of the bittersweet event for us. And Duncan was fighting against the West Kingdom for the very first time. And he just decided to, so he was fighting against all of his friends and cohorts. So he just spent an entire day cannonballing into the various war groups of the West Kingdom.
I love it.
Yeah, I had a fun story like that. I went back to get some more arrows. New scenario. I came out and I couldn't find Dragon's Lair. I couldn't find them. They said lay on. Dragon's Lair had switched to the other side, so I got to shoot all of them.
Did they even
Oh.
sides up or something?
They weren't
Who
happy.
knows? Although there is nothing quite like facing down the entire West Army, because you're literally the last archer standing. And you're out of arrows. Your thrown weapons are all gone, and like, archer, do you yield? And all I can think is, it depends. Will they throw things back so I can keep playing?
Some will.
So one An Tir West War, they said everyone needs to be on the field at 10 a.m. So I marched down to the field at 10 a.m. And there was, I forget which war band, but there was a Westie war band that marched down there. And they said, okay, West, take the field. And they did. And they said, An Tir, take the field. So I did. And I held up my bow and I said, I'm from An Tir, I can take you. And one guy yelled, we yield. And then they pummeled me to death.
Now, do archers specifically, like when you're shooting, do you look for the shiniest helm? Like what are you looking for? Do you look for the fanciest armor, or just that guy's got a bright shiny shield, I'm gonna go for him? Like, what draws your eye on the warfield?
The most dangerous person to our side is who I will take out first.
And how do you know who that is?
He's killing a lot of people.
Yeah. I mean, as an archer, I generally go for pike people,
Mhm.
because no shield makes it an easier target to shoot. And
Yeah.
just, pikemen with a white belt, good
Oh,
target
yeah.
selection.
Yeah, and for An Tir West War, my goal every year is to kill the King of the West at least once, just cause.
Why not?
Tradition.
I can guarantee you there have been a few times when the West Kingdoms wanted to kill the King of the West a few times.
Although, what is it? If we're fighting on the wrong side, if it's, ballista crew, siege crew, killing your own is sometimes fun.
Friendly fire.
I didn't do it, but I just did. It was spectacular.
Of course. Her Excellency Chloe would never friendly fire any of her friends to death. It'd be fine.
I don't fight. I sit on the sidelines and I cheer everybody on because I want to watch more murder raiding happen.
And that's perfectly valid. You
Oh,
know,
yeah.
a bard without an audience is a sad bard. A fighter without an audience is just, now he's probably the same person, or she's the same person, but whatever.
Mm.
I'm sure they're fine. So can you, Baroness Moira, can you tell us a fun fact about the barony of Stromgard?
Fun fact about the barony of Stromgard. Without telling any tales out of school. I'm going to say the fighter practice. Been watching fighter practices for 30 years. Been going and getting to witness some amazing fighters practice their skill and hone their skills. And I'm going to say the Stromgard fighter practice is quite possibly the very best fighter practice I've ever had the opportunity to witness.
Okay.
The community of the fighters is amazing, and they love killing each other like crazy. However, they really truly want each other to improve. I mean, they want you to get better so they can get better. And that sense of community is very strong whenever, and I can guarantee you they miss it.
I'm hearing that a lot. Everybody wants to just go ahead and get together with their friends and have some that. I mean, it's a stress relief, but I think so many of us. My performance is my stress relief. The fighters, it's their stress relief. So.
And I love sitting on the sidelines, and poor Duncan gets to hear this frequently. Hit him again! Hit him again!
Baroness Chloe, are there any fun facts about June Fair? Oh, I'm sorry, not June Fair, Dragon's Lair. Oh.
Like June Fair, there's plenty of fun facts. That thing's chaos.
Sorry, June Fair, Dragon's Lair, June in my brain, they just
They're the same thing.
They are. We are June Fair in all of its chaos. Fun fact. Oh, I have to pick one. Oh man, I'm on the spot.
We want to circle back to you when they hit Baroness.
Yeah, come back.
Baroness, fun fact about Dragon's Lair. See, I almost did it again.
We have more siege engines than anyone.
Yeah.
I was
So
afraid
many.
I was afraid Chloe was going to take it. No, we have 4, and I think 2 more in the making. And we if we show up on the warfield with all of our siege engines, they try and make a split on either side. And why would we do that?
Why would we do this?
That's not historically accurate. The enemy doesn't show up and lend you cannons. No. Don't think so. Baroness Chloe, did you come up with anything?
Oh man. Outside of it, you're in Dragon's Lair when you can hear Arontius's laugh across an event site. It's amazing. He's arrived because it just barrels of. Other than that, we have some of the most. I don't know the right word, but inspirational teachers. Culinary Guild has a group of amazing people who study hard. I tried to get into it, and then I took on this, and now I'm trying to figure out how the whole balance thing works. And it's just amazing that they're willing to teach. You'll see kids in the kitchen learning. You'll see, everyone's always welcome. We have amazing artisans, and I think that's got to be one of my favorite places. No matter where you go, one's there to teach you.
Dragon's Lair has some powerhouse people. I mean, they really are the foundation of An Tir in some regards.
And
their culinary guild is pretty fantastic. We have them every year at Embers and Ambrosia and Blathanor, and they're unbelievable. Like I hope they keep coming because they're a big draw.
Oh.
People just love just being around them, and watching them cook is incredible.
And another thing about An Tir is we seem to be very heavy on Lions of An Tir.
So many lions.
As part of our populace.
Oh, you mean in Dragon's Lair specifically? I thought you meant.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. In
I'm
Dragon's Lair, I'm sorry. In Dragon's
Mix it
Lair,
up with June Fair.
in Dragon's Lair, we're very heavy and our populace
Excellent.
being Lions of An Tir.
Which goes back to it speaks for the powerhouse that Dragon's Lair is, really.
So we're back from our commercial break, and we've recently found out that Baroness Moira has no filters when she drinks. So if everybody could please send her some wine or some scotch.
Thought that was supposed to be our secret.
Oh yeah, no secrets. We're all an open book here, right?
Well, I do. We were speaking about excellent things and our favorite things, and I just have a question for you all here, but we'll go around in order. So Your Excellency Moira, who is your favorite An Tirian Duke, and why is it Stirkar?
Actually, it's not. I don't know him.
She doesn't know Duke Dreamy.
Oh, I don't think that's possible. Woo.
I'm going to say Kjartan. He has been an amazing friend since we moved here, and I love him and Shea so deeply.
See, I have to just show my Duke Stirkar sword here because that's why he's my favorite Duke, is because awesome rawhide wrap hand painted Stirkar sword.
It's so pretty. It doesn't even go onto the war field. He just sleeps with it at night.
I only use it at crown tournaments. It's my crown tournament sword. I don't ever use it any other way, any other time.
Now, Kjartan has jovially accepted my bouts of mischief, and I just think the world of him.
He is the barefoot king. We call him Casual Kjartan in my little neck of the woods over here. Yeah, a couple years ago at Autumnmore, excuse me, it was extremely hot. I mean, it was 102 degrees, and we had one set of barons and baronesses stepping down and one set stepping up, and court had already been pushed back an hour because of the heat. So we were hoping for a little bit of sunset. And so court had been pushed back an hour, had already been going on for an hour, and the king and queen were not there. And all of a sudden, we're in the middle of baronial court, and just casually, just didn't have a care in the world, no shoes on, strides Kjartan, the king at the time, just with a drink in his hand, just kind of like, hey, everybody. Like, very, 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 relaxed, and just kind of rolls up and sits in the throne like, okay, let's have court. Yeah. One of my favorite Kjartan memories.
I was at that event, and yes, that was a very warm day.
Mm-hmm.
And Baron Arian, do you have a favorite Duke other than Steercar, or is it we just assume it's Steercar?
I admire Steercar greatly. He is a very successful man in modern life. He is a very gracious man. He is a very generous man. He's a hell of a lot of fun. And one of the things he did that really impressed me is for one of his reigns, he decided that for his Kingsguard, he wanted archers on it. And he picked John de Percy and myself to have a crossbowman and an archer. And I believe that was the first Kingsguard that ever had archers on it. So he's just an amazing person. That being said, there are so many other people. Probably the person I admire most is Duke Thorin, because he is our history. He brought us. He brought An Tir to where it is. The last time he won crown, I was standing on the sidelines at the finals when it was him and Skeggy, I think, and some kid came up and said, "That guy's 60 years old." I was 60 at the time. I said, "Yeah, that's old, isn't it?" He said, "That's amazing." And he won. I mean, he's an amazing man. And there are so many others. It's hard to just limit.
Now, I know who my absolute all-time favorite royal peer of An Tir is.
Oh?
Do
That's
tell.
Ulfred, His Excellency Earl Sir Ulfred.
Any particular?
I adore him.
reason?
He has, when we moved here, I had been driving in a car with 2 dogs for 16 hours, and I pull up, and I'd only met him like 3 times before in my life, and we pull up to the rental unit, and I look up, and there is Ulfred and Elfrida unloading my moving van for me.
That's amazing.
And if that isn't kindness and generosity beyond the pale of any kind of thing you could ever hope for, I don't know what is. But they're just, Ulfred is such an amazing human being, and he's smart, he's witty, he's so talented, and I adore him.
So
And he's evil.
other royal peers need to go ahead and step it up a notch, is what.
Yeah.
He just is. He epitomizes everything that I admire in an An Tir royal peer.
And Baroness Chloe, to you there, do you have a favorite Duke that's not Steercar, or is it Steercar?
It's totally Steercar. He has such a kind soul and genuine sense of humor. He's put up with a lot in Dragon's Lair camp, but also serving on Stjarna's Queen's. They together are very insistent that you're not serving them, your family. You come into camp, you sit and you chat and you enjoy their food, whether you're going to Miners in 5 minutes or not. Just they're warm and inviting as a group, as a pair, but individually as well. And I have such admiration for Steercar.
So just as a follow-up question to that, our former king, Duke Ivar, made an allegation about Steercar to his face, which he has never quite denied. Do you believe that he is indeed a cannibal?
Who are you directing that to?
All of you. I
Oh.
need some clarification on this, because even when he was interviewed on Bard tonight, he never really gave us.
Does he have plausible deniability, and is there hard evidence to this?
There
Beyond
is
reason
not.
doubt.
I can
I need
neither.
evidence.
Go ahead.
I
Yeah,
need evidence.
I can neither confirm nor deny the feast that I was at, what he ate.
Or who? We can't
Or
really
who.
say that either. Or who?
Well, there was that one squire he didn't like very much.
Yeah.
Oh, he
Never
liked
heard
him a
of
lot. It was a very tender subject.
Well, unfortunately, since now Duke Ivar, at the time he was the king when he made the scurrilous claim against Duke Dreamy, there may in fact have to be some sort of recompense, a war, perhaps maybe fought over this claim. So I'm going to leave it up to those in charge with the impressive hats. I have no impressive titles, as you know. I simply have my wee show. But if those in charge would like to stand up and defend the favorite son of An Tir, Duke Dreamy, and perhaps invade Avacol over these accusations, I think we all stand with you, An Tir.
Well, there's a problem though,
child
is
of
that
An Tir
over is the big problem. Is there's a mountain range
Yeah.
that you won't go over. So we're good here in Avacol. We're good.
Yeah, I mean,
But
I'm gonna
Mayor-
take a break from the script real quick. I'm gonna ask everybody here. So Scald and Duke Ivar have both made this claim that with mountains in the way, the Antirians specifically will not drive over a mountain to get to an event. And so Avacol will never be invaded because we're afraid of driving that far and over a hill.
It's the twists in the road and the lack of
Okay,
miss.
so you
Are there
asked us
bridge
about
tolls?
you asked us about our favorite event, Archery Fest. That's over a
Over
mountain.
the mountain.
Okay.
Over the mountain.
Mountains
We'll
aren't
go.
scary.
I was just giving His Excellency Three Mountains grief last week over the fact that all he has to do is cross a river,
Mm-hmm.
and that smacks of effort.
Oh yeah, that water, it's scary.
There's
Yeah.
2 bridges leading.
And I believe we have a historical claim to Avacol.
I'm
Yeah,
just-
there was some debate about that.
I'm just very appalled that a child kingdom of An Tir would turn so viciously on their.
We just wish the truth. That is really all it is.
I'm just really shocked by that kind of behavior from a former component of An Tir.
Well, I you see here behind me here. You know, I do have one of these Goethe songs.
And Mayor, aren't you an award-winning champion bard?
I'm on thrice. I'm thrice champion. True. Yeah, currently for Dragon's Lair, actually.
We love it.
I'm leaning to you could make this renown known in history. I mean, you could make this known and be told for years this infamy and vile accusation.
Mm-hmm. There may be something brewing.
There could be a bardic war over this.
One of my best friends in the world, my SCA sister, used to say, "Never make the bards angry; they'll put you down in a song."
Yes, they don't
do?
call them skalds for nothing.
Yeah, historically we were jerks.
And I had that voice in the back of my head. I could hear Megan saying that, and it was just like, so I just had to.
No, it's perfect. I think it's a good point. Don't piss off a bard ever.
Good.
So
It's a
Baroness,
trap.
sorry, go ahead.
It's a trap. Don't do it.
And then thank you. It's hard. We're all kind of stepping on each other a little bit, but it's Zoom, so it's difficult, and we're all doing a great job. Oh my God, thank you again. I'm loving listening to all of you, getting to know you better. And speaking of getting to know you, Baroness Moira, now I've heard a few stories about you. You've gotten into some shenanigans. Specifically, there was a time, and I hate to say this is a PG-13 show. The kids might want to send them out of the room, parents. Baroness Moira, I heard that a princess of the West, or the Mists of the West, once gave you drugs. Is this
So
true?
I had been in a car accident a few months before. It's Christmas Eve. My back blows out. We're at my parents' house, and they have to take me to the emergency room. And I look up, and there is Her Highness, Princess of the Mists, Megan McAllister Thornwood. And I remember being in agony, like 10 agony, and looking, going, "Aren't you the Princess of the Mists?" And she looks at me and blinks and says, "Yes." And Moira? Yeah. You okay? I'm like, "Okay, let's take care of you." I said, "Can you make the pain stop?" She says, "Let me work with the doctor." Now she's an emergency room nurse. She convinced the doctor, who thought anybody coming to the ER was looking for drugs. She convinced the doctor, no, I know this young person. I know she is not looking for drugs.
Well, I mean, you were,
She
but
gave me,
Yeah.
I was needing them. It wasn't that I wanted them, I needed them.
Yeah.
Level 10. She gave me a shot that made 3 days go away because I'm very lightweight. Because of Megan McAllister Thornwood, I have no memory of Duncan proposing to me on Christmas Day.
Oh,
this is some good drugs.
you just kind of have to take his word for it.
Well, yeah. But no, he decided that he needed to go through with it, with asking me, because he was more afraid of not with my mom and my dad. With my mother and father, they had basically told the entire family, including the small town in Oklahoma that I'm related to, that I was getting engaged. I was the last person to know, and it took 3 days afterwards for me to figure it out.
Look down and go, what?
How did
I
we
had
get
this
here?
very vague, I had this really vague, fuzzy memory of looking at a box, opening it, and going, "Cool." And that's it. It's the only thing I can think I remember. And I don't know if it's because I've been told that's what happened, or if it's what I actually remember happening.
That's
I was
terribly
completely
sweet.
sober
but
for the
very
wedding.
sad. Poor dear.
And we'll be celebrating our 30th wedding anniversary this year, so it's working well.
So, Baroness Chloe, we've now been at this interview thing for a while, and you've been working with Baron Arian for a bit, and we know how verbose he is. So, how hard is it for you to get a word in edgewise when the two of you are together?
It's actually all that hard. Half the time he's like, Chloe's got this time, or we divide up the work before we have to speak. So we can each touch on the points that are the most important to us personally, even though they're all important. Yeah, no, I think we do pretty good. Sometimes it's more of a who can get the other one to chill just a little, because we're very enthusiastic.
Enthusiasm is good.
And Baron Arian, you're a peer. You're a double peer. Yes, you're a laurel and a pelican.
Yes.
Are you chasing that third peerage? Are you going for number 4, or are you content with your place in life? Baron, laurel, pelican, bard, moneyer, coin maker, teacher, mentor, friend.
So I have no desire to be a royal peer. I have no desire to be a knight. I do think we should have another peerage that recognizes archers, equestrians, etc. And I have been working towards that since the proposal came up years ago.
Is that an equestrian thrown weapon? Is that an encompassing one for those two together, or are you saying two separate?
It would be the proposal that we put forth would be an omnibus peerage for martial activities that are non-rattan. And the proposal seems the bod has actually started to entertain the idea, and it may actually happen.
That was going to be my follow-up question. So your opinion on the bod's request? What do you think?
Uh, the proposal that they just put out, and they're going to be putting out a questionnaire or a poll to see what support is out there. But it looks very positive that it could happen.
Is there a name you've come up with in your proposal? Like we got Mortal, Pelican, Knight, Master of Defense.
Yeah, our proposal was Order of Valiance.
Oh, nice.
Whether they would use that name or not, or how it would come forward, we don't know. But yeah, there is movement afoot. And would I like that? Yes, indeed. Right now, I'm a member of the Order of the Grey Goose Shaft, which I consider the closest thing to peerage we have for archers, thrown weapons.
Thank you for that.
Baroness Moira, you're out in a beautiful day out in Western An Tir. And in Stromgard, you guys are a little bit obsessed with the weather. What's up with that?
You have Storm Chaser, Storm Cloud, Storm Baby
Yeah,
Buggy
can't you have like,
Bumper.
doldrum or calm or something?
It's weird.
All of those names were decided before I ever moved to An Tir. I haven't. But they're cool titles, aren't they?
Oh, yeah.
Wouldn't you want to be known as a storm god for the rest of your SCA career?
A storm
you-
god.
Could you
that's-
explain that to Scald and I? Because we're not familiar.
Yeah,
So we have the storm god, which is our heavy fighting champion, and then we have the storm blade, our rapier champion. We have the storm hunter, which is our thrown weapons and archery champion, and we have the storm maker, our arts and science champion. And when we were able to come back and do things again, we're actually working on a new champion, and we'll be able to hold our inaugural storm thrower champion for thrown weapons specifically.
so do all the other champions just gang up on the arts and science person because they're the ones making the storm and they just kind of, pile on and just stop it?
I would pay good SCA coin to see anybody try to take on her Grace Ludwika.
Oh,
I think we
yeah.
might have ideas for that next tournament. There is like
I just,
everybody versus the arts and science.
My storm maker is her Grace is. She's really made a lot of efforts to keep arts and sciences going with our arts and sciences officer. So I'm not going to let people pick on her. You can pick on the other champions if you wish, but you can't pick on my storm maker.
And are you going to be making a storm singer while you're making new ones so that Myra could maybe compete?
Storm Bringer,
Storm bringer?
Storm Teller.
I don't know that we haven't been approached about that. We
Yeah,
pretty
'cause
much
of all
let
the-
the populace come to us and say, this is what we want to have happen. And we said, okay, then let's do the work. And, how can we help you be successful is pretty much a mantra for Duncan and myself.
That's a good mantra. I like it.
Oh, I
You-
forgot Storm Rider. Duncan just yelled from the room.
Well,
Our equestrian champion.
my lord just yelled from the other room. My producer, the coffee oni, because sometimes you'll see hand me things from the back. He's Storm Siren for a bard. Storm Siren.
Ooh.
Excellent.
Storm siren.
If the
Nice.
bardic community wants that to happen, they'll talk to us and we'll, if it has to be from a grassroots effort, it has to be the people wanting to make it happen.
I will be
I'm not going to stand in anybody's way of being successful.
I will
ever.
be messaging her Grace Ludwika this evening.
Light a fire into her Grace's inspiration. Oh, she's my grand pelican.
Oh,
So yeah, I know the fierceness of that storm.
what is
Yeah,
what's
so, and
what's your pelican lineage then? She's your grand pelican, and who's your current pelican, Chloe?
Renard the Fox.
Okay. I've heard he can't be trusted.
Can he not?
I
What
don't
did you
know.
give him?
I mean, he's a fox, right? Wily. You got to be careful with that one.
Yeah, but he's quiet.
That's why you can't trust them.
That's why you got to watch them. It's always the quiet ones that get you.
Always the quiet ones.
He might be better termed Renard the Pussycat. He's a sweetheart.
Aw.
Aw.
So our final question for the evening is one that we have asked I think every guest since we came back from Christmas. And I'd like to know from each of you, and we'll start with Her Excellency Moira. When we get back, finally, hopefully, I'm hoping in the next few months, to in-person events.
Mhm.
What would you like to see continue from this ESCA, from our digital format? What would you like to see us continue to provide, offer?
I would like to see meetings that happen at Crown events and the Crown level events. I would like to see them stay out of the event. I'd like to see them happen virtually more. We do need to have in-person meetings, but let's free up that. Let's face it, the Crown has to attend every single meeting that's held. They're in a meeting for 10 hours in some cases. Let's free that time up for that, us coming back together and be with each other. I honestly believe we're all going to be a bit feral for a while, and we have to learn how to get around each other and work with each other again and communicate verbally, non-verbally. So if we're going to continue some aspect of this, I'd like it to see more meetings, and let's remove them from the component of an SCA event so that we can have fun. I'd rather have a really great conversation than be in a meeting. I'd rather listen to an amazing bard than be in a meeting.
Good points.
I'd love to watch fighting rather than be in a meeting.
And Your Excellency Arion, what do you think? Do you agree with that, or do you have another thing you'd like to continue on?
I want to be able to go to bardic circles with people I will never meet and continue to do that.
It's been a lot of fun. I think the bardic circle that I helped with that, I don't know if it was Collegium or this last Ithra, but I went to bed and it was going all night till 4 or 5 a.m. There were people in Drakkenwald popping in.
Oh yeah, when the Lockhack breakfast crowd comes on, you've had a good bardic circle.
And Your Excellency,
If we were all in our 20s, we could stay up for 24 hours like that.
well, see, now you could just sleep in your chair on camera and just, okay, I'm ready to go. Okay.
Put your a video backdrop and kind of slink behind it, just out of sight. So it's just the backdrop of you paying attention.
The old shadow.
I like it. Your Excellency, what would you like to continue from the ESCA when we all get back together finally?
The meetings would be wonderful to have online. I think knowing that I'm going to be having to go to meetings soon, it'd be so nice to not sit somewhere all day and lose time doing the part we love the most, which is the doing. But I really like the inclusivity that the virtual world has brought. People who can't necessarily play anymore because of health or any reason, being able to virtually have a component at any event. I think that would be extremely beneficial in the long run. Televise our courts, our stream. It's not televised anymore, it's stream. Stream our courts or classes in some manner so that people can continue to participate when they can.
I think these are all very valid concerns and questions and things we're bringing up about, keeping the inclusivity and keeping it open for others who, like I said, for health reasons or monetary reasons, or they can't drive or whatever. A lot of people are saying they feel more connected now because they're able to do these Zoom classes and these online, or even just when you can't remember which event you had, you all just streamed it all day long on YouTube. And so I just left it running on my laptop, and I was going about my day, but I could hear the classes and I could hear the bards, and it was, even though I didn't have to directly interact, it was really nice because I felt kind of a part of something, but it was just in the background and I could still do other things. So yeah, it would be great if we continue that.
I hope the interviews keep up.
Oh yeah.
The known world interviews that like this one, and there's a few others that I really enjoy listening to and watching, and I hope those continue because it helps. I think it helps everybody get to know someone a little bit better. It makes them a little less intimidating.
For sure.
I think Baroness Chloe was saying something. Did you have another thought?
It's gone.
Oh.
I apologize. I didn't mean to interrupt.
It'll catch it later. I'll catch it later. It's fine.
Scald, what about you? What do you want to see continue, bud?
What do I want to see continue? I've really enjoyed going to ESC events and doing the Bardic circles and classes. We've had instructors come to our Ithra thing Tua from Drakenfall, from Atlantia, from Merides. We would never have had a furrier from Atlantia teach at one of our events in the regular world. Now it's something that happens, and I think that's a box that can't be closed again. And I foresee at future events we'll have it in person, and we can just bring the instructor in on the screen, and everybody can still talk there. It's been very liberating, and a little bit frustrating that Baroness don't coordinate dates. Normally Winnipeg, Seattle, and Calgary having events on the same day would not be a problem, but in the ESEA, well, you could go to all three.
I've done it. I've had events running on different screens because I was super into a class that was at one event, and then I needed to be at an event that I am a sitting Baroness for.
Well, speaking of, we've got An Tir May Crown Grand Ithra coming up. Let's see, the weekend of May Crowns. I believe that's the 22nd, 23rd. There's going to be over 80 classes. It's going to be fabulous. We've got teachers coming from, again, all over the known world. We've got teachers coming that are teaching about East Indian dance, martial arts, Japanese cord weaving. So I'd like to see all of you attend, and all of you out there in the virtual world, please come to An Tir Grand Ithra, May 22nd and 23rd. I'm plugging the event because my Laurel is running it. So love you, Mom. Is there any events coming up for you three that you'd like to let us know about that we could all attend? And then I think I'll let you go for the evening and let you relax with a fine drink.
But we're planning June Fair virtually.
Great.
It'll at least be a court and a Bardic circle, so come sing stories and see awards get handed out. We're working on other stuff, and we really, really want more content to play on that YouTube channel all day.
And we've got a rock star that's going to run our Bardic circle.
Don't know. I've heard things about her. I don't know. Cannot be trusted. Baroness Moira, did you have anything upcoming for your for Stromgard?
Nothing specific for Stromgard other than our Stormmaker is hosting once a month challenges. We've done 2 now. It's on our stromgard.org website. I think the next one is building a sword the day of, and it being a timed thing. We've done embroidery, we've done calligraphy elimination, and next one is building a sword with the intent to something you would fight in crown tourney with. And the schedule's on stromgard.org, and Her Grace is really just making certain these things happen each month.
She sounds like she's knocking it out to the park. Well done, Stromgard. Well, everyone, I'd like to thank you all, your excellencies, for joining me and just giving a little bit of your time and introducing yourselves to the greater An Tir. And thank you, Skald, for joining me once again, all the way from Avacol. Your legs must be just exhausted. He ran down here a half an hour. He was like, oh, I can do it. And he got ready real quick for me. So I appreciate Skald, as always, at Griffin Eye News. If you don't already watch, please catch their fantastic show. I think you have a show every week or twice a week, Skald?
Every week, plus we have Heraldic Mondays. Every
week plus Heraldic Mondays. So I invite everyone to check out Griffin Eye News. There's less cussing and drinking than some of the other shows, but it's still a good program. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, I'm going to say goodnight to my guests and goodnight to you, An Tir. We'll see you all soon, if not in our dreams, but definitely Grand Ithra. Bye-bye, everybody.